From the Podwires newsroom at joinpodwires.com.
Good morning, I'm Miguel, and this is Podwire's 5 Things. It's Thursday, October 2nd in Australia, and we're bringing you 5 essential developments shaping the podcast industry, from major new launches to technological innovations transforming how audiences consume audio content. We begin with iHeartPodcasts, which is highlighting 3 compelling new series this week that showcase the breadth of contemporary podcast storytelling. Cardiac Cowboys launches today with critically acclaimed actor Chris Pine as host. The 6-episode series chronicles the origins of heart surgery, following greatest generation doctors from America's heartland who broke medical barriers in the race to pioneer cardiac procedures. New episodes release every Tuesday. Also joining the iHeart lineup is Dodger Blue Dream, now part of the My Cultura Podcast Network. Hosted by Richard Parks III and chef Wesley Avila, this audio documentary is being produced in real time as the baseball season unfolds, blending essayistic writing, rich sound design, and original music into what the network describes as an immersive baseball fever dream. And every Monday, neuroscientist David Eagleman returns with Inner Cosmos, exploring how modern brain science intersects with everyday life. The Stanford researcher and best-selling author tackles questions ranging from the nature of color to the mechanics of intelligence. These launches reflect the industry's continued expansion into specialized content, with iHeart positioning itself across true crime, sports culture, and science communication. In technology news, podcast hosting and programmatic advertising company SoundStack has launched HLS, HTTP live streaming for podcasting. Despite the name, this isn't about live streaming content. The technology breaks podcast episodes into small media chunks, typically 2 to 10 seconds in length, rather than delivering content as one large MP3 file. SoundStack says this approach makes episode delivery faster and more seamless, reducing buffering and audio stuttering, regardless of connection speed or device capability. CEO Jon Stephenson says the innovation addresses fundamental infrastructure needs as podcasting continues its growth trajectory. He stated, "Podcast consumers are some of the most enthusiastic audiences out there. The onus is on all of us to keep them coming back, and fast, clear listening is fundamental." Beyond audio quality improvements, SoundStack reports HLS enables more efficient ad insertion through what's called HLS interstitials, expanded content options including live elements, and potentially more accurate audience measurement. The company says the technology provides a unified view of exactly how much content was delivered to each individual listener, setting what they call a foundation for more precise engagement metrics. This represents a significant shift in podcast delivery infrastructure, with implications for both listener experience and publisher revenue opportunities. In the United Kingdom, media veterans from Google, YouTube, BBC, and Fremantle have launched Hera, described as the UK's first female-focused video podcast network. Founders Rosie Alamonins, Neshma Patel-Robb, and Kirsty Hunter bring decades of experience scaling platforms and producing award-winning content. Between them, they've launched YouTube's creator economy, delivered shows including Britain's Got Talent, and driven growth strategies across Instagram Reels and global franchises. Hera aims to address what it identifies as a significant gender imbalance in podcasting. The network cites data showing 90% of the top 10 podcasts on UK Spotify charts are hosted solely by men, with only 10% featuring a female co-host. The network will produce original shows, broker brand partnerships, and build proprietary technology to help creators produce content more efficiently. Hera has closed an initial seed funding round under the SEIS scheme and opened a second stage under EIS. A membership initiative called Hera Club will provide training, mentorship, and technology access for women and non-binary creators. The founders argue that with women expected to control 75% of discretionary spending by 2030, brands are missing opportunities by overlooking female audiences. Neshma Patel-Robb stated, "Podcasts aren't just entertainment. They're trusted outlets where listeners go to find new information. But when you look at the charts, this is a sector dominated by men. It's time for change." Yesterday marked International Podcast Day, and Spotify's editorial leaders shared perspectives on the medium's evolution and current trajectory. Lizzie Hale, head of Global Podcast Editorial, and Valentina Ruderman, podcast editorial manager for Latin America, emphasized video as the dominant shift in podcast behavior. 6 months ago, we had to convince creators that video was the way to go. Now they understand it's key for discovery and user experience. Spotify reports nearly 7 million podcasts now exist on the platform, compared to just hundreds of thousands when the company entered podcasting in 2015. The editors highlighted how podcasts have shifted from passive listening to what they call appointment viewing, with clips dominating social media discovery. Hale identified news and opinion programming alongside lighthearted content as experiencing the strongest growth. Recent successful launches include Good Hang with Amy Poehler and Not Gonna Lie with Kylie Kelsey. Both editors emphasized that consistency and community building remain essential for emerging creators. Ruderman advised, "Some podcasts take months, sometimes a year, before they build an audience. But if they do it staying true to their idea and what they're passionate about, it's going to pay off." The platform's editorial team curates content including a hub called Chronicles Online, which highlights creators best known for their internet presence and covers trending digital topics. Finally, several significant podcast launches round out this week's industry developments. Odyssey, in partnership with Agenda Management and Production, has launched Undomesticated, a weekly audio and video podcast hosted by Candice Dillard-Bassett and best-selling author Michael Arcasence. The show debuted yesterday on YouTube and all podcast platforms, releasing new episodes every Wednesday. The duo will dive into pop culture, entertainment, reality television, music, and internet culture in what's described as a smart, hilarious, and unfiltered style. Premier Networks and veteran journalist Kevin Cirilli have partnered to launch Hello Future with Kevin Cirilli with iHeartPodcasts. This daily podcast covers topics ranging from Mars and UFOs to flying cars and space exploration, blending science, technology, and imagination. This week's guests include Harvard astrophysicist Dr. Avi Lieb and Space Foundation Vice President Rich Cooper discussing America's $1 trillion space economy. And in advertising technology, AMA has launched Location AI, an AI-powered platform designed to deliver personalized and context-aware audio advertising at scale. The global creative technology company says the tool unifies its existing capabilities into one enterprise-grade stack for advertisers worldwide. Current partners include Google, Walmart, Target, Uber, McDonald's, and Amazon, with integrations across Spotify, Pandora, Acast, and iHeart. Those are your 5 essential stories for Thursday, October 2nd. From technological infrastructure innovations to new content launches and industry analysis, the podcast ecosystem continues its rapid evolution. I'm McGill. Stay informed. This is your trusted source for podcast news. Don't forget to subscribe at joinpodwires.com and be a paid subscriber to continue our work. By the way, we also have our Podwires Marketplace Podcast Producers Directory. And if you have job need to post, head over to our Podwires job board at jobs.joinpodwires.com.
That's your wrap. Want the inside track on podcasting? JoinPodwires.com is your next stop. Subscribe to the newsletter for the latest trends and tap into the marketplace to connect with jobs, creators, and brands shaping audio's future. Don't just listen, get involved. Head to joinpodwires.com today.